The warning alarms screamed through the deep space communications array. Commander Ji-won Kim ran down the metal hallway, her boots making loud sounds on the floor. Something big was happening. The computers were going crazy with signals from space. "Commander Kim!" shouted Minho Park from the main control room. The tall scientist had worry written all over his face. "You need to see this right now." Ji-won rushed into the room filled with glowing screens and beeping machines. Dozens of people worked at their stations, all looking scared. In the center, a huge screen showed space filled with strange signals. "What is it?" Ji-won asked, catching her breath. Minho pointed at the biggest screen. "We got a message from space. It's not human." The room went quiet. Everyone stopped working and looked at the screen. For 50 years, humans had been looking for aliens. Now it seemed like the aliens had found them first. "Play it," Ji-won said. The screen changed. A voice spoke, but it sounded wrong. Like many voices talking at the same time, some high, some low, some making sounds humans couldn't make. "People of Earth," the voice said in perfect English. "We are the Galactic Council. We have watched your kind for many years. You have spread across space like a disease. You take what is not yours. You fight and destroy." Ji-won felt cold. Around the room, people stopped breathing. "We give you one choice," the alien voice continued. "Leave your home planet in 72 hours. Take nothing. Go far away and never return. If you refuse, we will destroy every human in the galaxy. This is not a threat. This is a promise." The message ended. The room stayed silent for a long time. "How many ships do they have?" Ji-won asked quietly. Young engineer Yoonji Nam worked at her computer with shaking hands. "The signals are coming from everywhere. Hundreds of ships, maybe thousands. They're hiding just outside our solar system." Admiral Sora Lee walked into the room. The old woman had fought in 3 wars, but Ji-won had never seen her look this serious. "I heard the message," Sora said. "How long do we have?" 72 hours, Minho answered. "But Admiral, we can't fight this. Look at these readings. Their ships are huge. The technology is beyond anything we have." Sora studied the screens. "Maybe. But humans don't give up easy. Yoonji, can you trace where that signal came from?" The young woman nodded. "I'm trying, but they're using some kind of technology that bounces the signal around. It's like trying to catch smoke." Captain Hyunwoo Choi came running in. His uniform was messy, and he looked like he hadn't slept. "Commander Admiral, we have a problem. The message wasn't just sent to Earth. Every human colony got it. Mars, the mining stations, the deep space explorers, everyone." "How many people?" Ji-won asked. "About 2 billion humans across 40 different locations," Hyunwoo said. Minho sat down hard in his chair. "They know everything about us, where we live, how many we are, what languages we speak. They've been watching us for years." "Or longer," said Dr. Wanbin Ko, walking in with a tablet in his hands. The old man was Earth's best expert on alien life, even though he had never seen a real alien before today. "I've been looking at the message, the way they talk, the words they use. They don't just know English, they understand how humans think." Sora crossed her arms. "What do you mean?" "They called us a disease," Wanbin explained. "They said we spread and take things. That's not how you describe an enemy army. That's how you describe something you want to get rid of completely." The room got quiet again. Everyone understood what he meant. "So what do we do?" asked Yoonji. "We can't fight them. We can't run. Earth is our home." Ji-won looked around the room at all the scared faces. These people had families, children, dreams. In 3 days, it might all be gone. "We need more information," she said. "Yoonji, keep trying to trace that signal. I want to know where they are. Minho, gather every scientist you can find. I want to know everything about these aliens. How they think, how they fight, what they want." "And me?" asked Hyunwoo. "Take the fastest ship we have. Visit every human colony you can reach. Warn them. Tell them to hide if they can, fight if they must, but most important, tell them that Earth hasn't given up." Sora nodded. "I'll talk to the military. We have some new weapons we've been testing. Maybe they'll help." "Admiral," Minho said carefully, "our best weapons are like rocks compared to what they have." The power readings from their ships are impossible. They could destroy our whole planet without even trying hard. Maybe, Sora said, but I've learned something in my 50 years of life. When someone is bigger and stronger, you don't fight them the way they expect. You be smart. You be fast. You survive. Over the next few hours, the command center became very busy. Scientists called friends at universities. Military officers woke up soldiers. Engineers started building new weapons as fast as they could. Jiwan stood by the big window that looked out at space. The stars looked the same as always, but now she knew enemies were hiding out there. Enemies who thought humans were nothing more than bugs to step on. "Commander," Yunji called out. "I'm getting something. The signal source. It's moving." "Where?" "They're coming closer. All of them. The ships are moving toward our solar system." Jiwan felt her heart beat faster. "How long until they get here?" Yunji's fingers moved over her keyboard. Numbers appeared on the screen. "At their current speed, about 60 hours. 12 hours early," Minho said. "They're not even waiting for their deadline." Wanbin looked up from his research. "That tells us something important. They're not interested in whether we leave or not. They want to destroy us no matter what." "Then why give us the choice?" Jiwan asked. "Because they're testing us," Sora said, walking back into the room. "They want to see how we react. Do we run? Do we beg? Do we fight?" "What did you find out about our weapons?" Hyunwoo asked. Sora's face was grim. "Not enough. We have some good missiles and energy weapons, but nothing that can hurt ships that big. It's like trying to fight a tank with a pocket knife." "So we're going to die," said a young technician. "Maybe," Jiwan said. "But we're going to make them work for it. Humans have survived ice ages, plagues, wars, and disasters. We're still here, because we don't know how to quit." She turned to face everyone in the room. "These aliens think they know us. They think we're weak because we fight each other. They think we're stupid because our technology is simple. They're about to learn something important about humans." "What's that?" Yunji asked. "When you corner a human, they don't lie down and die. They bite back. And sometimes, that's enough." Outside the window, the stars seemed to twinkle a little brighter, but Jiwan knew that some of those lights weren't stars anymore. They were alien ships coming to end the human story. The countdown had begun. 60 hours until the end of the world, or the beginning of something new. Earth was about to find out what humans were really made of. The sky above New York City broke open like glass. Lieutenant Daeho Yoon saw it happen from the cockpit of his fighter jet. One moment the morning sky was clear blue, the next moment huge black shapes were pushing through space itself. The alien ships looked like floating mountains made of dark metal and glowing crystals. "Control, this is Eagle Squadron," Daeho spoke into his radio. "I'm seeing multiple large contacts appearing over major cities. Request orders." The radio crackled with panic. "All units, this is not a drill. Alien vessels are appearing worldwide. Engage only if fired upon. Repeat, engage only if fired upon." Daeho counted 12 massive ships hanging in the sky over his city. Each one was bigger than 10 football fields. Smaller ships, about the size of cars, flew around them like angry bees. "Eagle Leader," came a voice from one of his wingmen. "They're beautiful and terrifying at the same time." Below them, people ran through the streets. Cars crashed as drivers looked up instead of watching the road. Emergency sirens wailed from every direction. Then the shooting started. Beams of red light shot down from the alien ships. They hit buildings and turned them into dust. They hit the ground and made deep holes. They hit anything that moved. "All units, weapons free," the radio screamed. "Defend the city!" Daeho pushed his fighter toward the nearest alien ship. His missiles locked on target. "Eagle Squadron, follow me in. Let's show these things what humans can do." The alien ship was covered in smaller flying machines. They looked like metal insects with wings made of energy. As Daeho got closer, 3 of them turned toward him. "Here they come," he said to himself. The first alien fighter shot purple bolts at him. Daeho rolled his plane to the left. The bolts missed by inches. The second alien came at him from above. Daeho pulled back hard, making his plane climb straight up. Something strange happened. The alien pilot seemed confused by this move. It tried to follow but moved too slowly. Daeho spun around and got behind it. "Gotcha," he whispered, and fired his guns. The alien fighter exploded in a ball of green fire. "Eagle Leader to all units," he called out. "They're fast, but they can't turn worth anything. Use that against them." The battle above New York became a deadly dance. Human pilots twisted and spun through the air while alien fighters tried to follow. But the aliens flew like they were following rules, like they had learned only one way, to fight. Deho shot down 2 more enemy fighters before he noticed something impossible. He was getting better at this. Not just better, but much better. His hands moved faster on the controls. He could see where the aliens would go before they went there. "Control," he called. "Something weird is happening up here. I can almost read their minds." On the ground, Dr. Yuna Shin crawled through the ruins of her laboratory. Half the building was gone, hit by alien weapons. But her computers were still working, hidden deep underground. She had been studying human brain patterns when the attack started. Now, looking at the data on her screen, she saw something that made no sense. Human brain activity was changing. All over the city, people who were still alive showed new patterns in their neural networks. Their minds were working faster, making connections they had never made before. "Impossible," she whispered, then ducked as another explosion shook the building. Meanwhile, Dr. Wanbin Ko led a group of civilians through the subway tunnels under the city. The old scientist had gathered 50 people, mostly families with children. They moved quietly through the dark tunnels, trying to reach a safe place. "Doctor," whispered a woman carrying a baby, "how long can we hide down here?" Wanbin didn't answer right away. Above them, they could hear the sounds of battle. Human jets fighting alien ships, buildings falling down, people screaming. "As long as we need to," he finally said. "Humans are good at hiding. We've been doing it for millions of years." A young man with a broken arm spoke up. "But doctor, I saw something strange. When that alien beam hit my building, I moved faster than I ever moved before, like my body knew what to do before my brain did." Other people nodded. A teenage girl said, "Me too. I pulled my little brother out of the way of falling glass. I couldn't see it coming, but somehow I knew." Wanbin stopped walking. He turned on a small flashlight and looked at their faces. In the dim light, their eyes seemed brighter, more alert. "Tell me more," he said. High above the city, the battle was changing. Deho had shot down 8 alien fighters now. His squadron had destroyed dozens more. The impossible was happening. Human pilots were winning. "Control, this is Eagle Leader," he called. "We're pushing them back. They're not as tough as they look." "Copy that, Eagle Leader, but we're getting reports from around the world. The big ships are starting to land. Ground invasion has begun." Deho looked down at his city. 3 of the massive alien ships were settling down like huge metal spiders. Ramps opened on their sides and creatures came pouring out through his high-powered scope. He could see them clearly. Some looked like walking crystals that sparkled in the sunlight. Others were like giant insects with too many arms and legs. They moved in perfect lines, like soldiers who had never learned to think for themselves. "They're organized," he told his squadron. "But look how they move. Same pattern, same speed, same everything. Like robots." His wingman laughed over the radio. "Robots are easy to beat. You just do something they don't expect." As if to prove the point, a group of human civilians ran out of a building with hunting rifles and started shooting at the alien ground troops. The aliens stopped moving completely, like their brains had crashed. They didn't know what to do when the enemy didn't follow the rules. In her underground lab, Dr. Yuna Shin made a discovery that changed everything. She had connected her brain scanner to the building's security cameras. She could watch the battle above while monitoring brain activity below. Every time a human saw an alien, their brain patterns spiked, but not with fear or panic, with something else. Learning. Adaptation. Evolution happening in real time. "They're not just fighting," she said to her empty lab. "They're becoming something new." She typed notes as fast as she could. Human neural plasticity was increasing by 400%. Pattern recognition was off the charts. Most incredible of all, humans were sharing information without talking, like their brains were connecting to each other. Outside, the battle raged on. But it wasn't the battle the aliens had planned. They had expected to fight weak, scared creatures, who would break easily. Instead, they found themselves fighting an enemy that got stronger with every passing minute. Dr. Wanbin Ko reached a subway platform where dozens of other people were hiding. In the dim light, he saw something amazing. People were working together without being told what to do. They shared food, water, and medicine. They took care of each other's children. They organized guard shifts and escape routes. But more than that, they seemed to know things they shouldn't know. A construction worker pointed to a wall and said, "There's a water pipe behind there." He was right. A teacher drew a map of the tunnels from memory, even though she had never been down there before. Her map was perfect. "We're changing," Wanbin said to himself. "The stress, the danger, it's making us evolve." A young mother overheard him. "Is that why I can hear my baby's thoughts? I know what she needs before she cries." Wanbin nodded slowly. "I think so. Humans have always been good at adapting, but this is different. This is faster than anything we've ever seen." Above ground, Daeho prepared for another attack run. His fuel was running low and his ammunition was almost gone. But he felt more alive than ever before. Every alien ship he had fought had taught him something new. Now he could predict their moves perfectly. "Control, this is Eagle Leader. I think I know how to hurt the big ships." "Tell us, Eagle Leader." "They have a weak spot, right where the small ships dock. The armor is thinner there. If I can get close enough—" "Negative, Eagle Leader. Too dangerous." But Daeho was already diving toward the nearest massive ship. Alien fighters came up to stop him, but he flew between them like water flowing through rocks. His movements were so smooth, so perfect, that the aliens couldn't track him. He fired his last missiles at the weak spot he had found. They hit their target and exploded deep inside the alien ship. The entire vessel shuddered and started falling toward the ground. "Impossible," came a voice over the alien communication channels. Somehow, Daeho could understand their language now. "The humans are adapting too quickly. This was not predicted." As the sun set over the burning city, something had changed. The humans were no longer just defending themselves. They were learning, growing, becoming something the aliens had never seen before. The invasion was supposed to be over in hours. Instead, it was just beginning. 3 days after the invasion began, Sergeant Minji Han crouched in the ruins of what used to be Seoul. The alien ground troops had taken most of the city, but they hadn't taken it all. Small groups of humans still fought back from hidden places. Minji's team had 12 people. They weren't all soldiers. There was a cook, a school teacher, a taxi driver, and even a teenager who should have been in high school. But they all fought like they had been born for this. "Target coming around the corner," whispered Jamin Lim, the former engineer who had become their tech expert. He held a device made from parts of broken alien weapons. 3 crystal walkers moving in standard formation." Minji smiled. The aliens always moved the same way. Perfect lines, perfect timing, perfect patterns. It made them easy to predict. "Same plan as yesterday," she told her team. "Let them get close, then hit them from 3 sides. Remember, they can't handle chaos." The alien crystal walkers were 9 feet tall and looked like walking diamonds. Their weapons could cut through steel like paper. But they had one big weakness. They couldn't think for themselves. When the aliens reached the middle of the street, Minji's team attacked. The school teacher threw a homemade bomb from the left. The taxi driver shot at them with an alien rifle from the right. The teenager dropped a heavy chunk of concrete from above. The crystal walkers stopped moving. They stood perfectly still, trying to decide which threat to handle first. In that moment of confusion, Minji and her team destroyed all 3 of them. 2. "Easy," said the cook, reloading his weapon. "They're like computers that crash when you give them too many things to do at once." 50 miles away, Commander Hana Oh studied reports from resistance groups all over the planet. The news was strange and wonderful. Humans weren't just surviving the invasion, they were getting better at fighting it every day. In Tokyo, a group of office workers had figured out how to hack alien communications. In London, construction crews were building traps that confused alien vehicles. In Sao Paulo, doctors were treating wounded aliens and learning about their biology. "It doesn't make sense," she told her staff. 3 days ago, we had never seen these creatures before. Now we're fighting them like we've been doing it for years. Dr. Sung-Ho Bae entered the command room carrying a thick folder. The older man had been studying alien prisoners and captured equipment. His findings were incredible. Commander, he said, I think I know why we're adapting so fast. It's because of how humans evolved. Explain, Hana said. Sung-Ho opened his folder and showed pictures of alien brain scans compared to human ones. These aliens come from peaceful worlds. They never had to fight for survival like we did. Their brains are organized for efficiency and order. He pointed to the human brain scans. But humans evolved on a dangerous planet. We had to fight predators, survive disasters, compete with each other. Our brains learned to be flexible, creative, unpredictable. So when they attack us, they're using strategies that work against logical enemies. But humans aren't logical. We're emotional, chaotic, adaptive. We do things that don't make sense to them. Hana looked at the brain scans. You're saying their greatest strength is also their weakness? Exactly. They're so good at organization and planning that they can't handle randomness, but randomness is what humans do best. Meanwhile, in a hidden laboratory beneath the ruins of a university, Jamin Lim worked on his greatest project yet. He had pieces of alien technology spread across several tables, weapons, computers, communication devices, even parts of alien clothing. This is impossible, he muttered to himself, as he connected alien circuits to human computers. This should take months to figure out, but somehow, I can see how it all fits together. The truth was that Jamin's brain had changed. Like many humans, the stress and danger of the invasion had unlocked parts of his mind that had been sleeping. He could look at alien technology and understand it instinctively. Minji, he called over his radio, I've got good news. I figured out how their shields work. Tell me, came her voice. They're designed to stop organized attacks. Energy weapons, missiles, things that come straight at them, but they can't handle multiple random impacts at the same time. What does that mean? Jamin grinned. It means if we throw rocks at them from different directions, their shields get confused and shut down. Back in Seoul, Minji tested Jamin's theory. Her team surrounded a group of alien vehicles and threw debris at them from all sides. Chunks of concrete, pieces of metal, even empty bottles. The alien shields flickered and failed. He's right, she laughed. Their super-advanced shields can't handle garbage. But the aliens were learning too. In their command ships high above Earth, the Galactic Council met in emergency session. The crystalline Veltar spoke first, their voice like breaking glass. The humans are not behaving as predicted, they said. Our models showed they would surrender or be destroyed within 48 hours. The insectoid Kriksani clicked their mandibles in frustration. Impossible. We have conquered 47 worlds using these same tactics. No species has ever adapted this quickly. A new voice joined the meeting. The Zephani were gas-based creatures who lived in floating containers. Perhaps we underestimated them, they said. Our observations were limited to their peaceful periods. We never saw them during active warfare. They are still primitive, insisted the Veltar. Their technology is crude, their society is chaotic. How can they resist us? The answer came from an unexpected source. One of their own scientists, a creature called Nixara, had been studying human behavior since the invasion began. Because chaos is their strength, Nixara said. We observe, plan, and execute in perfect order. But humans observe, adapt, and create new solutions in real time. They are not just fighting us. They are evolving during the battle. The council fell silent. This was not something they had planned for. On Earth, the evolution continued. Dr. Yuna Shin had moved her equipment to a safe bunker where she could study the changes happening to human brains. What she found amazed her. Human intelligence was increasing, not just by a little, but by enormous amounts. People were solving problems they had never seen before. They were learning alien languages in hours instead of years. They were building new technologies by combining human and alien knowledge. We're becoming something new, she told her research notes. Not just smarter, but different. More connected, more intuitive, more creative. She watched as a group of refugees built a shelter using alien materials and human engineering. None of them were architects, but their design was perfect. They had somehow shared knowledge without speaking, each person knowing exactly what the others needed. Commander Hanao received reports that made her both proud and worried. Human resistance was succeeding beyond all expectations. Alien forces were being pushed back in dozens of cities, but the cost was high. Millions of people, had died, and many more were wounded. The question is, she told her staff, what happens when we win? Are we still human after all this? Dr. Sung-Ho Bae had been wondering the same thing. The humans he studied were stronger, faster, and smarter than before the invasion. They could see in the dark, hear sounds across great distances, and heal from wounds that would have killed them a week ago. Evolution usually takes thousands of years, he explained to a group of soldiers. But extreme stress can speed it up. We're not just adapting to fight aliens. We're becoming the kind of species that can survive anything. That night, as Minji Han's team prepared for another day of fighting, they shared a meal of alien food they had learned to cook. It tasted terrible, but it gave them energy and strength. "You know what's funny?" said the teenager, whose name was Bora Kim. "A week ago, I was worried about a math test. Now I'm building bombs and speaking alien languages." Jamin looked up from the weapon he was repairing. "Do you miss it, being normal?" Bora thought for a moment. "No. I like who I'm becoming. I feel more alive than ever before." Around the fire, the others nodded. They had lost their old lives, but they had gained something new. They had become more than human, and they were just getting started. Above them, the alien ships still filled the sky. But now, those ships looked smaller, less frightening. The humans below were no longer the same species that had received the Council's ultimatum. They were something new, something stronger, something the galaxy had never seen before, and they were ready to show the universe what humans could really do. 3 weeks into the invasion, Captain Ji-won Kim stood on the bridge of humanity's first captured alien warship. The massive vessel had been called Eternal Harmony by its previous owners. Now the humans just called it Lucky Break. Status. "Report!" Ji-won called out to her mixed crew of human engineers and freed alien prisoners. "Engines at full power," reported Chief Engineer Subin Park, a young woman who had learned alien technology faster than anyone thought possible. "Navigation systems are online. Weapons are charged and ready." Next to her stood Velkris, a crystalline being who had been a slave of the Galactic Council for 200 years. The creature's voice sounded like wind chimes when it spoke. "Captain Kim," Velkris said, "my people on the mining worlds are ready to rebel. Your broadcast gave them hope for the first time in centuries." Ji-won nodded. The humans had discovered something the Council had tried to hide. Most of their empire was built on slavery. Dozens of species worked in mines, factories, and farms against their will. When they learned that humans were winning battles against their masters, many of them decided to fight back. "How many ships do we have now?" Ji-won asked. Taehyun Jung, the former video game developer who had become their strategic commander, pulled up a holographic display. Hundreds of red dots appeared in the air, showing human-controlled vessels throughout the solar system. 63 captured alien ships, he said. Plus about 200 human ships with upgraded alien weapons. We also have ground forces on every major planet and moon. "And our secret weapon?" Ji-won asked with a smile. Taehyun grinned back. "Ready when you are, Captain." The secret weapon was humanity itself. In just 3 weeks, humans had changed in ways that scared their enemies. They learned faster, fought better, and solved problems that had puzzled alien scientists for generations. Dr. Nyan Kang had been working on the biggest problem of all, how to travel faster than light using human technology. The aliens had kept their hyperspace technology secret for thousands of years, but Nyan had cracked it in 18 days. "Captain," she called from the science station, "hyperspace jump calculations are complete. We can reach the Council's main fleet in 6 hours. "Perfect," Ji-won said. "Signal all ships. Operation Knockout is beginning." Deep in the ship's medical bay, Dr. Yoo-jin Cho treated wounded humans and aliens alike. She had learned alien biology so quickly that even the alien doctors were amazed. But what surprised her most was how the different species were starting to work together. "Doctor," said an insectoid Crixani patient, "why do humans help their enemies? My people would have killed me for being captured." Yoo-jin bandaged the creature's injured limb. "Because we're stronger when we work together. That's something humans learned a long time ago." The alien thought about this. "Perhaps that is why you are winning this war." Meanwhile, on Earth, Major Kyung-soo Park led the Liberation Protocol. His job was to free alien slaves and turn them into allies. It was working better than anyone had hoped. "Command, this is Liberation Team 7, he reported from a freed mining station. "We've got 300 Veltar workers who want to join our fleet. They're bringing their own ships." "Copy that, Major," came the reply from Admiral Sora Lee. "Send them to Rendezvous Point Delta. We'll get them equipped and trained." The old admiral had become the leader of humanity's growing space navy. Every day brought new volunteers from species that had been enslaved by the Council. The humans treated them as equals, which was something most of them had never experienced. "Admiral," called Communications Officer Yunji Nam, "we're getting signals from across the galaxy. 17 different species are starting rebellions against the Council." Sora smiled. "The universe is waking up. About time." But the real breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Engineer Jinho An had been studying captured Council weapons when he made a discovery that changed everything. "Captain Kim," he called, over the ship's communication system, "you need to see this. I've found something incredible." Jiwan hurried to the engineering deck where Jinho had alien technology spread across several tables. In the center was a device that glowed with soft blue light. "What is it?" she asked. "It's their master control system," Jinho explained, barely able to contain his excitement. "Every Council ship has one. It connects to their main command network. But here's the amazing part. They're all linked together." Meaning? Meaning, if we can hack into this one device, we can access their entire fleet. We could shut down their weapons, disable their engines, even turn their ships against each other. Jiwan stared at the device. "How long would it take?" Jinho smiled. "With human creativity and alien technology, give me 4 hours." While Jinho worked on his project, the battle continued across the solar system. Human forces were pushing the aliens back from Earth, Mars, and the outer colonies, but the real victory was happening in the minds of the galaxy's enslaved peoples. Captain Hyanwoo Choi had returned from his mission to warn the colonies with amazing news. Human settlements throughout space were not just surviving, they were thriving. The threat of destruction had awakened something in humanity that even they didn't know existed. "They're building things I've never seen before," he reported to the command staff. "Weapons that think for themselves, ships that repair their own damage, communication systems that work faster than light." "How is that possible?" asked Dr. Wanbin Ko. "Because humans don't accept limitations," Hyunwoo explained. "When aliens say something is impossible, we ask why. Then we figure out how to do it anyway." The Galactic Council was beginning to understand this. In their emergency meetings, panic was replacing confidence. "The humans have made contact with our slave populations," reported the Veltar commander. "Revolts are spreading across 12 star systems." "Impossible," clicked the Crixani leader. "Those species have been loyal for centuries." "Loyal?" laughed a new voice. It was Cathara, a Zephani scientist who had been studying human tactics. "They were afraid. There's a difference. The humans have shown them that the Council can be beaten." The truth was spreading through the galaxy like fire. The mighty Galactic Council, rulers of 1,000 worlds, was losing a war to a species they had dismissed as primitive. On the captured ship Lucky Break, Jinho An finally cracked the Council's command codes. His fingers flew over the alien controls as lines of code scrolled across holographic displays. "Captain," he called out, "I'm in. I have access to their entire fleet network." "What can you see?" Jiwan asked. "Everything. Troop movements, supply, lines, even their private communications. But Captain, there's something else. Something big." "Tell me." "They're planning to use their ultimate weapon, a planet killer. It's heading for Earth right now." The bridge went silent. Everyone turned to look at Captain Jiwon Kim, the human who had gone from communications officer to fleet commander in just 3 weeks. "How long do we have?" she asked calmly. 6 hours, Jinho replied. "Maybe 7. Jiwon looked around at her. Crew. Humans and aliens working together, united by their desire for freedom. She thought about Earth, with its blue skies and green forests. She thought about the billions of people who depended on her to protect them. "Signal all ships," she said. "We're going to stop that planet killer." "How?" asked Tae-hyun Jung. "It's the size of a moon and protected by hundreds of warships." Jiwon smiled the way humans smile when they're about to do something impossible. We're going to do what humans do best, she said. We're going to improvise. Dr. Nayan Kang worked at her science station, calculating hyperspace jumps and battle formations. Around her, the bridge bustled with activity as the crew prepared for the biggest fight of their lives. Captain, Nayan called out, I have an idea. It's crazy, but it might work. I like crazy, Jiwan replied. What do you have in mind? What if we don't try to destroy the planet killer? What if we steal it instead? The bridge fell quiet again. Then slowly, smiles began to appear on human faces. Now that, said Jiwan, sounds like something humans would do. As the ship jumped into hyperspace, heading toward the most dangerous weapon in the galaxy, the crew felt something they had never experienced before. They were no longer just fighting to survive. They were fighting to change the universe itself. Fosane. Galaxy was about to learn that when humans decide to do something, they don't just succeed, they exceed all expectations, and they were just getting started. Admiral Sora Lee stared at the massive weapon floating in space before them. The Council's planet killer was as big as Earth's moon, covered in dark metal and glowing energy conduits. Around it flew hundreds of alien warships like guards protecting their most precious treasure. That thing could destroy our entire solar system, whispered Engineer Subin Park from her station. Not if we get to it first, Sora replied. At 70 years old, she had lived through many battles, but nothing like this. Captain Kim, what's the status of your assault team? From the captured alien ship Lucky Break, Captain Jiwan Kim's voice came through the communication system. We're ready, Admiral. 60 ships, half human, half freed alien allies. Dr. Nayan Kang thinks she's found a weakness in their weapon. Tell me, Sora said. Nayan's excited voice joined the conversation. The planet killer needs massive amounts of energy to fire. They have to lower their shields and redirect power from their engines when they charge the main weapon. For about 90 seconds, they're vulnerable. 90 seconds, Sora repeated, against hundreds of enemy ships. Actually, came a new voice from Engineer Jinho An, I might be able to help with that. I've been playing around with their command network. I think I can cause some confusion among their fleet. On the planet killer itself, the Council leaders were growing desperate. They had never faced an enemy like humanity before. Every strategy they tried seemed to make the humans stronger. Status report, demanded the crystalline Veltar commander, their voice sharp with frustration. 37 star systems in rebellion, reported a Krixani officer. The humans have freed over 2 billion slaves who are now fighting against us. Our supply lines are being attacked by species we conquered centuries ago. How is this possible? Clicked another council member. We gave them the choice to surrender. They should have accepted our mercy. Because humans don't understand mercy the way we do, said Kethara, the Zephani scientist who had been studying human behavior. To us, mercy means accepting your place in the natural order. To humans, mercy means getting another chance to fight back. The Veltar commander's crystal body flared with anger. Then we will show them true power. Charge the planet killer. We will destroy their homeworld and end this rebellion once and for all. Deep inside the weapon, massive engines began to hum with deadly energy. The Council had used this device to destroy 47 worlds. It had never failed, but they had never used it against humans before. Back on the human fleet, Captain Hyunwoo Choi prepared his fighter squadron for the most dangerous mission of their lives. His pilots were a mix of humans and freed aliens, all volunteers who knew they might not survive the next hour. Listen up, everyone, he told them over the radio. Our job is to get Captain Kim's team close enough to board that monster. It's going to be the hardest fight we've ever had. Sir, came a voice from one of his pilots. What if we don't make it? Hyunwoo looked out at the massive weapon and the fleet protecting it. Then we make sure our sacrifice means something. Every second we buy is another second for Earth to survive. In the medical bay of the Lucky Break, Dr. Yujin Cho worked frantically to treat wounded soldiers before the battle even began. She had learned alien healing techniques that could repair injuries in minutes instead of weeks. Doctor, said Velcris, the crystalline being who had become her assistant. Why do humans fight so hard for a world they might lose anyway? Yujin paused in her work. Because it's not just about winning or losing. It's about who we choose to be when everything seems hopeless. I do not understand. That's why the Council is losing, Yujin explained. They think this war is about power and territory. But for humans, it's about something more important. It's about the right to exist as free beings in the universe. The battle began when Jinho An activated his computer virus. All across the Council fleet, ships suddenly stopped responding to orders. Some fired on their own allies, others flew in random directions. Chaos spread through their perfect formations. "Now!" shouted Admiral Sora Lee. "All ships attack!" The human fleet burst from hyperspace like a swarm of angry hornets. They flew between the confused Council ships, targeting the planet killers, docking bays, and weapon systems. Captain Ji-won Kim led the assault team in a captured Council transport, disguised to look like a supply ship. "Remember," she told her boarding party, "we're not trying to destroy this thing. We're trying to steal it." The team included some of humanity's best fighters. Sergeant Minji Han had volunteered to leave her resistance cell on Earth. Major Kyung-soo Park brought his liberation specialists. Even young Bora Kim, the teenager who had survived Seoul, insisted on joining the mission. "Why steal it?" Bora asked as they approached the massive weapon. "Wouldn't it be easier to just blow it up?" "Because," Ji-won explained, "humans don't just win battles. We win the whole war. If we capture their ultimate weapon, we can use it to free every enslaved world in the galaxy." They docked with the planet killer just as its main weapon began to charge. The entire structure shook with power that could destroy planets. They had maybe 10 minutes before it fired on Earth. Inside the weapon, they found corridors big enough for giants, filled with control systems that pulsed with alien technology. But they also found something unexpected. More slaves. "Help us," whispered a creature that looked like a tree with eyes. "We have been forced to operate this terrible machine for 300 years. Consider yourselves freed," said Minji Han, cutting the creature's chains with an alien cutting tool. The freed slaves led them to the central control room, where a dozen Veltar operators were preparing to fire on Earth. The crystalline beings turned in surprise as armed humans burst through the doors. "Impossible," one of them said. "How did you get past our defenses?" "Same way we've done everything else," Ji-won replied. "By doing the impossible." The battle for the control room was fierce, but brief. The Veltar were powerful, but they fought like they had all the time in the world. The humans fought like every second mattered, because it did. When the shooting stopped, Dr. Nayeon Kang rushed to the weapon's control systems. "I can reverse the firing sequence," she said, "but it's going to take time." "How much time?" Ji-won asked. 4 minutes. Outside, the space battle raged around them. Human and alien allies fought desperately against the Council fleet. Ships exploded in brilliant flashes of light. Heroes died to buy precious seconds. Captain Hunwoo Choi's voice came over the radio, weak and full of static. "Captain Kim, my squadron is down to 3 ships. The Council is sending everything they have at you." "Hold them off, Hyunwoo," Ji-won replied. "We're almost done here." But then disaster struck. A Council battleship broke through the human lines and fired directly at the planet killer's docking bay. The explosion shook the entire weapon and cut off their escape route. "We're trapped," said Major Kyung-soo Park, looking at the burning wreckage where their ship had been. "No," said Nayeon from the control console. "We're not trapped. We're in control of the most powerful weapon in the galaxy." Ji-won understood immediately. "You want to fly this thing?" "Why not? It's basically a really big spaceship with a really big gun." Before anyone could object, alarms began blaring throughout the weapon. The Veltar's automated systems were trying to complete the firing sequence even without their operators. 30 seconds until it fires on Earth," Nayeon announced. "I can stop it, but then we'll be stuck here." Communications officer Yoonji Nam had been quiet during the mission, but now she spoke up. "Captain, I'm receiving a message from Admiral Lee. She says to do whatever it takes to save Earth." Ji-won looked around the control room at her team. Humans and aliens who had risked everything for freedom. They were light years from home, trapped on an enemy weapon that was about to destroy their world. "Nayeon," she said calmly, "reverse the firing sequence. Target the Council's main fleet instead." "Are you sure?" "If we fire this thing, there's no going back. The Council will never stop hunting us." Ji-won smiled. "Then we'd better make sure we get them all." With 10 seconds to spare, Nayan reversed the weapon's target. Instead of firing on Earth, the planet killer turned its massive gun toward the Council fleet. The energy beam that shot out was brighter than a star. It vaporized a dozen Council ships instantly and sent the rest fleeing in terror. The weapon, that was supposed to end human resistance, had become humanity's greatest victory. "This is Captain Ji-won Kim to all human forces," she announced over the communication system. "The planet killer is ours. The Council fleet is retreating. Earth is safe." The cheers that came back over the radio could be heard across the solar system. But even as they celebrated, Ji-won knew this was just the beginning. They had captured the Council's ultimate weapon, but the real war was just starting. "Set course for the nearest enslaved world," she told Nayan. "We have some people to liberate." As the massive weapon turned toward the stars, its new human crew prepared to use it for something the Council had never intended, bringing freedom to the galaxy. 6 months had passed since the failed invasion of Earth. Fleet Admiral Ji-won Kim sat in the command chair of the captured Council flagship Eternal Harmony, now renamed New Dawn. Through the massive viewing window, she could see dozens of liberated worlds spinning peacefully in space. "Admiral," called Communications Officer Yoonji Nam, "we're receiving surrender requests from 3 more Council sectors. That brings the total to 21 star systems that have joined the human coalition." Ji-won nodded. The galaxy had changed beyond recognition. What started as humanity's desperate fight for survival had become a revolution that freed billions of enslaved beings across hundreds of worlds. "Any word from the Council remnants?" she asked. "They're requesting a meeting," Yoonji replied. "They say they want to discuss terms." Dr. Minho Park, now serving as the Coalition's chief science advisor, looked up from his research station. "It's amazing how quickly they want to talk when they're the ones losing. In the 6 months since capturing the planet killer, humanity had used it to free enslaved worlds across the galaxy. But more importantly, they had shared their greatest weapon with their new allies, the ability to adapt and evolve. Dr. Yuna Shin had established learning centers on every liberated world. Species that had been slaves for centuries were now discovering their own potential for growth and change. The galaxy was experiencing an awakening unlike anything in its history. "The Veltar from Sector 7 have developed new crystal-growing techniques," she reported to Ji-won. "The Crixani colonies are building ships faster than we ever thought possible. Everyone is changing, learning, becoming more than they were." General Minji-han had taken command of the Coalition's ground forces. Her army included soldiers from 17 different species, all united by their desire for freedom. They fought with a combination of human tactics and alien abilities that made them unstoppable. "Admiral," she reported from the surface of a recently liberated mining world, "the last Council garrison has surrendered. The Zephani workers are free, and they're already building new cities in the gas clouds." The success of the human coalition had attracted attention from across the galaxy. Species that had never heard of Earth were sending ambassadors to learn about human culture and philosophy. Dr. Wanbin Ko had become the Coalition's cultural ambassador, teaching alien species about human concepts like individual freedom, creative thinking, and cooperative competition. His most popular lesson was about how conflict could lead to growth instead of destruction. "The key," he explained to a group of newly freed alien leaders, "is that humans don't see differences as threats. We see them as opportunities to learn something new." But perhaps the most remarkable change was in humanity itself. Captain Hyun-woo Choi, who had survived the space battles around Earth, now commanded a fleet of hybrid human-alien vessels. His crews included beings who had been enemies just months before. "It's strange," he told Ji-won during one of their planning meetings. "I can barely remember what it was like when humans were just humans. Now we're part of something bigger." Engineer Jinho An had become a legend throughout the galaxy for his ability to combine technologies from different species. His workshops on liberated worlds were like magical places where impossible inventions became reality. "Admiral," he called from his engineering deck, "the new hyperspace engines are ready. We can now travel anywhere in the galaxy in less than a day." "Based on whose technology?" Ji-won asked. "Everyone's," Jinho grinned. "Human creativity, Veltar precision, Crixani efficiency, Zephani innovation. When you put them all together, amazing things happen." The Coalition's medical advances were equally impressive. Dr. Eugene Cho had developed healing techniques that combined the best knowledge from dozens of species. Injuries that would have been fatal before the war could now be healed in hours. We're not just treating wounds anymore, she told a medical conference on New Earth. We're helping entire species recover from centuries of oppression and abuse. Meanwhile, Major Kyung-Soo Park led diplomatic missions to worlds still under control. His job was to convince remaining council forces that surrender was better than destruction. The old galaxy is dead, he would tell them. You can be part of building a new one, or you can be buried with the old one. Your choice. Many chose to join the coalition. Even some original council species decided that freedom was better than the rigid order they had known for millennia. But not all of them. The remaining council leadership had retreated to their oldest and most defended worlds, where they plotted humanity's destruction. They're building new weapons, reported Captain Taehyun Jung, the former video game developer who now led coalition intelligence. Super viruses designed to attack human neural systems, planet crackers that can break apart worlds. They're getting desperate. Desperate enemies are dangerous enemies, Jiwan replied. But they're also predictable. Fear makes you stupid, the Mayo. Final confrontation came when the Council launched a surprise attack on New Earth, humanity's first colony outside their home solar system. They used every weapon they had left, including some that violated their own ancient laws about warfare. But the attack failed completely. The coalition fleet, led by human tactics and alien technology, destroyed the Council's remaining forces in less than 6 hours. That was their last chance, Admiral Sora Lee observed from her retirement on Mars. The old warrior had earned her rest, but she still followed the war with great interest. They have nothing left but pride and stubbornness. The formal surrender came 3 days later. The remaining council leaders sent a message requesting safe passage to neutral space in exchange for an end to hostilities. Jiwan read their message aloud to her command staff. They say they will leave the galaxy forever if we promise not to pursue them. What do you think? Asked Dr. Nayeon Kang, who had become the coalition's chief scientist and Jiwan's closest advisor. I think, Jiwan said slowly, it's time to send them a message they'll never forget. She activated the galaxy-wide communication system that the coalition had built. Her transmission would reach every inhabited world, every space station, every ship in known space. This is Fleet Admiral Ji-Won Kim of the Human Coalition, she began. I'm sending this message to the Galactic Council, wherever you may be hiding. She paused, thinking about the journey that had brought them to this moment. From a scared communications officer receiving an alien ultimatum to the leader of a galactic revolution. 6 months ago, you gave humanity a choice. Surrender or be destroyed. You thought we were weak because we fought each other. You thought we were stupid because our technology was simple. You thought we were worthless because we refused to accept the order you had imposed on the galaxy. Around her, the command staff listened in silence. They remembered those dark first days when humanity faced extinction. You were wrong about everything, Ji-Won continued. We didn't surrender and you couldn't destroy us. Instead, we destroyed your empire of slavery and oppression. We freed billions of beings you held in chains. We turned your greatest weapons against you. She stood up and walked to the viewing window, looking out at the fleet of ships from dozens of different worlds, all united under the banner of freedom. But we're not done yet. The galaxy is a big place, and there are still worlds where beings suffer under tyranny, still species that believe freedom is impossible, still dictators who think they can rule through fear. She turned back to the camera, her voice becoming stronger. To all of them, I say this, we're coming. The age of empires and masters and slaves is over. The age of freedom and cooperation and growth has begun. And if you try to stop us, you'll learn the same lesson the Council learned. The transmission spread across the galaxy at faster than light speed. On 1,000 worlds, enslaved beings looked up at the stars with new hope. On 100 more, tyrants realized their days were numbered. You shouldn't have tangled with Earth, Ji-Won concluded. But I'm glad you did, because now the whole galaxy knows what humans are capable of, and more importantly, they know what they're capable of too. She ended the transmission and sat back down. Around her, the bridge was quiet except for the gentle hum of engines and computers. So what now? Asked Yoonji Namjiwon smiled. Now we build something new, a galaxy, where everyone has the chance to become more than they were, where differences are celebrated, not feared, where freedom isn't a gift from the powerful, but a right of every living being. She looked around at her diverse crew. Humans and aliens working together, sharing knowledge, creating solutions to problems that had plagued the galaxy for millennia. "We're not conquerors," she said. "We're liberators, and we're just getting started." Outside the ship, the stars seemed to shine a little brighter. The galaxy was vast and full of challenges, but for the first time in its history, it was also full of hope. Humanity had reached for the stars and found something even more valuable: the chance to help others reach for them too. The age of humanity had begun, but it wouldn't be humanity alone. It would be everyone, working together, building a future that was bigger and better than anything any single species could achieve. And it all started because one small blue planet refused to give up when the universe told them they had no choice. Earth had taught the galaxy its greatest lesson. There's always a choice, as long as you're brave enough.